Welcome to another episode of Paradise Arrested. I am your game mistress, Sarah. I want to give a quick shout out to our music collection today from Critical Role, Robert Wolf, and Hunter Rogerson that you'll be hearing today, especially our lovely theme from Exandria Calamity, the Ring of Brass. I also want to give a big thanks to my players and, of course, the viewers watching this today. We are back. We are in a new chapter, Chapter 4 of the Odyssey, this episode titled Pure of Heart. When we last left off with our apostles, they were fighting quite the battle with more withers that were making zombies and making magical artifacts do things. While a seemingly corrupted, changed, always been an asshole this whole time, Apostle Everine for Esterin had told you all before he died that there is many things that had been hidden from you all from the first ring, and that you should go seek that truth. And that main one was to ask them, who is Alka? You all did so, and you all learned that Alka was an original first ring deity, the god of war. And part of his story is that after his major help with the battle against the devils, there no longer was a need for war. And soon enough, despite attempts to keep him relevant, such as naming the continent after him, Alka seemed to disappear or die. Through all of this, what to do now. These withers are definitely a bigger threat than seemingly thought before. And your next task was to look at basically the last places that everyone had been to. Those being the Zenith and the Anakori Rosalinde. The Anakori Rosalinde is a special location from the fight with the devils, and the other Apostle Entourage will be going there to investigate. Meanwhile, all of you were told to go to the Zenith, where you were told to meet with the Prophet, a special Onredo named Onredo Thea, who has a lot of strange attributes. She has been alive for almost 15 years, which is longer than most Onredo. And also special, her sparking seemed to come about from her talking almost against the first ring. And so her Onredo ability seems to be something about being able to see the truth of things and people. We like to keep things vague because magic. And as a result, the first ring decided that she would be too powerful to really be keeping around with anybody. So she was placed in a labyrinth at the Zenith for sort of a way to have no one go in and no one come out. You all decided, because you're all best friends, to first head out to the Sapphire Lake because Nereus wants to try to find a Pegasus. And maybe a flying horse could be useful for more than just personal gain. But for right now, we are going to be going, I think, the next morning. And we are going to be having that each of you have been requested by each of your deities to speak privately before you go off. And I will leave it up to any of you who would like to go first.
Rollies?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just do a d20 roll. Makes it easier in case people have double numbers.
13.
16.
Did you get Nereus?
Oh, damn. Sorry, I thought I hit the button. Which
I got
skill is it?
I got it.
apologize.
Just a flat
just-
d20.
It's just a
D20.
flat d20.
Oh,
so
that's why I did it wrong. Okay. My bad.
no big. Slash
bad.
R 1d20 should get you there. All right.
I got a 10.
You did get a 10.
All right.
I
well,
got
if
the
the
most
lowest
average.
goes first, I suppose
Also-
it's me.
Also, Nereus, you'll be able to re-roll your divination die.
Oh, okay. I'll just
'Cause-
do that now.
Mhm.
And save it in my brain. We got a 20.
All-
A nat 20.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. I need
And a 4. Hell yeah. I'm fucking everybody's day up.
Good rolls.
Whale. All right. Oh,
the
those are.
charlatan's die requires attunement.
Yeah,
A common magic item.
that's
Six-sided
the
die.
problem. Yeah,
You can control what number it lands on. That's it. Requires attunement.
my little hat does that too. I didn't realize it required attunement, so I have this cool magic hat that doesn't do anything.
Great. We're so awesome.
Lithian, did you roll?
I did. I got an 8.
Oh, you got an 8. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Rohirri, you are first.
Yay.
So Rohirri, you you go to the kind of the temple area in the district with all the different first ring temples. Definitely, there's a little bit of some coldness when you enter this room because word has spread with what has happened with the archbishop. But you are not stopped as you go into the room to speak to Kethek. And I need to get the right music. It's not long before Kethek swirls into existence before you. And I think the expression on on his face is one of relief. He almost seems happier than you're used to seeing him. Ha ha! Rohirri.
Grandfather.
Glad you could make it. Sorry about all that angst in that conversation. I've been saying for years that we shouldn't be hiding about Alka, and now we don't need to. Now we can just be honest and open. But I didn't just come here to talk about the old days. I've got a present for you.
A present?
I do. He motions. Give me that hammer.
She'll give him the hammer.
You try to give him the hammer, and it falls through his hand, and he just kind of looks at you on the ground.
I feel like that's probably what Rohirri would have done, but
That's fair. He'll put his hand, his kind of ethereal hand, over it, and it starts to shimmer a bit. And Rohirri, please put in Kethek's Fist Empowered in your inventory. It is an extra +1 bonus for your attack and damage, and you have a extra ability called Adaptive Steel. When you successfully make a melee attack with this weapon, you may choose to have the weapon deal either magical bludgeoning damage, force damage, or fire damage.
ooh, very fancy.
Yes. Now, you're gonna be going to see that prophet lady.
Did Sarah just freeze for anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, the music cut for a sec.
you guys froze for me. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't.
Awesome. Kethek nods to you. That should be enough to deal with whatever you gotta deal with to get to that prophet. Now listen. You gotta do whatever this prophet thing, figure out whatever the fuck everyone was up to, but the reason you're also going is I got something else I need you to do for me.
Okay.
That, Lysilia's bitch. What's her name?
Rude.
Goddamn. That's her name.
Saphira?
Lysilia's bitch.
Saphira, yeah. Saphira. Lysilia and I, we've never seen eye to eye. And I'm pretty sure that the only reason that she's making her apostle get her hands dirty is probably to make it so we gotta do things in a, non-violent manner. But I think she's got something more up her sleeve, so I need you to keep your eye on that Saphira.
feel like Rohirri kind of looks like she doesn't quite believe him based on like what her experience was with Saphira have been.
You letting that?
I'll keep an eye on her.
You letting her get into your head? She may be good with her dances, as all of Lysilia's people are, but you mark my words. Everything she's done to this point has been calculated. And I don't trust her. So that means you can't trust anybody associated with her either. We clear?
I will keep an eye on her.
Good. All right. I got nothing else for you, unless you got something for me.
Can't say I have anything.
All right. Get out of here. And he will swirl out unless there's something else you wanted to.
Nope.
All
sure,
right.
You sure you don't want to ask him if he didn't mean that you should like hammer her, like really just pound away, like I'm talking just really go to town on her, because that's usually what he wants you to do, hammer things, right?
And historically, that is what you've done with Saphira. So
Yeah.
So
Look, I was gonna.
keep an eye
She
on
said
her.
she would keep an eye on her. That doesn't mean that. She didn't say how far away that eye would be.
And yes, nothing says Saphira like words like calculated and planned.
To be fair, he means
Right?
Lysilia.
Oh, he means Lysilia. Okay,
Yeah,
well that
yeah.
I might believe.
Yeah, he means Lysilia with that.
Yeah, don't worry, Saphira. We don't have faith in you.
No, that's probably for the best.
All right. Rohirri, was there anything you wanted to do in the temple before I move on to someone else?
She's eventually gonna want to grab Saphira for a conversation.
Okay.
But that can be after the temple with
Yes,
everyone.
That's perfectly fine. Which, speaking of which, Saphira, you're next.
Okay.
Saphira, it's easy enough to find your temple with, for Lysilia, and, you're waiting. It's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But eventually, she does swirl up, and, even though she doesn't seem to have enough of a body to be, like, lounging on a lounge chair, somehow she makes it work. As she looks at you. I think the feeling you're getting from her is more... Usually she's just very, like, relaxed and apathetic. Right now you're getting a Lysilia who looks like she's been thinking, and that might be a little scarier. As she, finally swirls. Saphira?
My goddess.
I asked to see you separately for, well, 2 reasons. 1, I have something for you, and 2, I have something to ask of you.
She nods and just kind of looks down.
You seem on edge.
An apostle is dead.
Yes, well, such is the way when you have an apostle who is one of pursuit of knowledge, but not exactly pursuit of strength.
We killed him.
Would you say killed him?
We killed him.
You had to. There was no choice in that. Not that I exactly want you to go around killing people, but that was others' job, and you supported them.
The blood stains on my hands just the same.
Yes, well, ideally you'll be able to make them wash clean. Saphira, you are not used to seeing death, which has always been my point. And I, more than anyone, am not exactly rushing to find another war with these withers, but I keep you there so that the others don't devolve into mindless bloodshed themselves.
War may be upon us whether we like it or not.
She gets a disgusted look on her face. Yes, well, that doesn't mean we can't find another way.
Perhaps. I hope so.
You've got that look in your eyes when you're thinking of something, but you're not saying it.
Because what I want to say, I could never take back.
She raises an eyebrow towards you. Oh. She leans forward. Are you trying to speak of blasphemy, my dear?
Are you afraid of dying like Alka?
She pulls back and kind of looks away. Are you afraid of death?
Death is a natural part of my life. I'm not eager to rush to it. But you've been around a long time. Through many of me.
The minute I sparked, I lost concept of mortality. I had my purpose, and I had my direction. Endless direction.
But it's not the direction you wanted.
I can't want that direction anymore. The minute I sparked, I could associate with it as much as I could, but pleasure's what I have. At least it was a good feeling one.
This world, this society that we live in now, why do I get the sense its purpose is to make sure that the first ring is always relevant?
Saphira, you're thinking very hard again. Thinking a little too hard. That's the thing about societies, dear. The minute you start poking at them, then they fall one by one to chaos. And when things fall to chaos, what happens?
Chaos or change?
There was plenty of chaos and change during the wars. I am here to make sure that it's no longer necessary to go through such pain.
You're
We are-
not.
Go ahead.
First ring, you're not. You're not our saviors, you're our prison bars. You are the molds that make sure that every generation turns out the same as the one that came before it.
Says Saphira, in the coveted position of the apostle.
Saphira the molded.
Molded to have a life of what? A life where you could do some of the greatest honors of power, of beauty, of pleasure even. Have I not allowed you to seek out pleasures of your heart's content? Have I not allowed you to be seen as the most beautiful person in all of Volcano?
But it's all based on lies. None of it means anything. It's all a carefully put together stage presentation. We may as well call ourselves the Acropolis. We are nothing more than actors being pulled on strings, trying to create the illusion of this perfect world that never needs to change. That's what Miro is trying to show Nereus when he sends him to other continents. The world is growing and changing around us, and we're stuck in place.
And have you heard from Nereus's tales what those other places are doing? The barbarians and their practices. We have found our paradise, and you would say that it needs to change. You're upset over why do people love the story so much? Because it all ends in a happy ending. And what does it matter if it's on a stage if people believe it? If people can trust in it? If people are happy within it?
What happens to a pond with no water flowing through it?
What's your point?
It stagnates.
And stagnation is peaceful.
I'm going to go and find out what Everine learned. With or without your blessing.
Is this you giving your potential status of resignation?
I'm done being stagnant.
Well, regardless, I had this all planned for you. At the end of the day, I can't exactly choose what you're going to do, but some terrible things I have tried to shield from you, Saphira. And when you see those terrible things, well, you can come crying to me and I'll just make sure that it all goes away with a smile. She beckons you closer.
She steps forward.
She reaches out over your chest that lightly glows. Saphira, you may take Lysilia's wraps empowered, along with an extra bonus to your spell save DC and attack rolls. You get Encouraging Samba when an allied creature you can see within 30 feet of you fails an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. You can use your reaction to bestow a bardic inspiration upon them, giving them a chance to succeed. Saphira, one more thing.
Yes.
I'm going to give you one last mission, and depending on how this goes, well, perhaps we will need to see if you are a good candidate for Apostle any longer. Kethic's little spawn.
Rohirri is the name you're looking for.
Rohirri, yes. Kethic has, well, let's just say that he has not always taken too well to his barrier of bastions. He's not a god of war, after all. I have a feeling that there's probably more to things that he is planning, considering the things I have heard of Rohirri's actions. So, you're going to do a little bit of spy work. I sound fancy when I say that. Watch her. See what she's doing. See if you can get her to talk about what it is that Kethic wants from her. You know, the little things that you get to get people to talk.
She nods. As you command.
Very well. You are dismissed for now, Saphira. Best of luck at the Zenith.
She just turns and leaves.
And she actually stays for a moment longer as you leave, but when you open the door and maybe glance back, she is gone. All right. Next we got, I think it's Miro next. Gotta change your music too. Nereus.
Mhm.
You head inside the your temple, and of course they're very polite followers and priests as they help you lead into the proper room. Some people offer to wash your hat if you wish.
Yeah, they can wash my
Nice.
hat.
Yeah. They think you're pretty cool. They help kind of scrub it. They also like if you want your cloak kind of scrubbed, they'll help you out with that too.
Yeah, I'll do that. I don't remember the last time I got it washed, so might as well take. I hate doing dry cleaning. So
Like
Mm-hmm.
the idea that they're like, "Would you like us to wash your hat?" And he just piles all of his stuff into their hands and is like,
I take
Thank
my shoes off.
Exactly.
"Whoa, whoa, those are the shoes you made yourself."
Yeah, but I ain't cleaning them myself.
So you go into your room, and Mira's already there. Darius! You're late. Or am I early? I never know.
I think, my good lord, that we are both exactly on time.
You always do know the right little puzzles. So, I am here because in all of my glorious glories, I have offered you a riddle. What is something that only time can give you that is also a gift?
The time can give me that is also a gift.
Yes,
Hmm.
wordplay. Little bits of
Let's see.
wordplay.
Wisdom?
Oh, wisdom is good. I'm thinking of something that is a literal piece of time. That is a gift.
The gift of time.
It is a gift, but it is also of time. Wordplay.
I feel like this one should be obvious. Let's
It's
see.
a present. Do you like my puns?
Nereus is very irritated with himself and not recognizing that sooner,
Nurse
But it's
jumps
more-
off the balcony.
but is more irritated with Miro. But he just goes, "Stump me again, majestic Miro."
Ah, that's all right. There's a first time for everyone. Now, my present to you. Come closer. My reach is not very good.
I will step closer.
And he reaches forward and he pokes your staff,
Mhm.
and the little horse kind of lights up, and he goes, I know you've been complaining that when you try to talk to me, sometimes you might go crazy or something. So I
Right.
thought maybe this might help. Nereus, you have Miro's staff empowered. You may choose a first, second, third, and fourth level spell from the cleric spell list to be imprinted on the staff, and it can be cast. Those spells can be cast the same way as your previous ones that you have attached.
Awesome. I select them once, and then those are the
Yeah,
imprinted one. All right, cool.
and let me know if you have any trouble with that one. But
Mirror staff. No, I doubt I will. I'm sure
awesome.
through the power of thaumaturgy. Let me
Yes.
see. I'm trying to search it. Oh, maybe I need to go to add items.
Yeah. Let me
No, that
know
is-
if you're having
that
trouble.
is add items.
But it's basically
Also,
just
if you let me know what the 4 spells are, I'll actually put the spells on the
Yeah.
staff.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Oh, here it is. All right.
yeah.
so-
We just I didn't really know which spells you were gonna pick, so we just figured.
No. That's fine. That's fine. That way I can really break it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I know.
Get rid of old staff. We delete that. And all right, perfect. Thank you. Well,
Yes.
most magnanimous Miro, I thank you for this gift, and it shall be used with discretion and wisdom.
I know. You are very wise. You are very good at knowing how things should be discreet, which will be good because you are seeing the prophet.
Yes. We journey to a labyrinth, hopefully both to untangle it and the nature of what is affecting this world.
That would be good. That would be good. That particular prophet is interesting. I would advise that it could be helpful to have a chat. Always good to have a chat over tea. Isn't that right, Nereus?
I do like tea, my illustrious lord.
Yes, tea is very good. Also, makes a lot of good money. Easy to produce and easy to send around.
Yes, the storage, the dry storage, very, very good for long-term travel, even on boats.
Yes, yes. Excellent. But yes, this prophet, I would say it is, the things that she can see, the sort of webs and spokes on wheels and the ways they turn and the towers that we build. So many things that she can see. So many things that she could see for you.
I see. I will ensure that my questions are carefully thought out then.
Yes, very much so. And, well, for the first time, and I would say a very long time, Nereus, Miro seems a little more serious, I would say. He's still got the little riddles and giggles behind his eyes, but there's something a bit more somber as he looks to you. You have heard many of the trials and errors of deities and a first ring. And I have a feeling that before this is over, there are more mistakes that you may learn.
I see. Miro,
Yes,
great and powerful.
I am.
I have a question.
Ooh. I love questions.
Do not know if the answer could be a riddle, because the riddle's in the nature of the question itself.
Riddle upon
My
riddle.
lord, when the god of war died, do you know what the last thing they felt was?
Fascinating question, fascinating question. I was not in Elka's spirit form, or whatever form that you would talk about these deities in, but I think the better question is, what are you hoping he felt, or what do you fear he felt?
Well, that's just it, my lord. I have many ideas of what it could have been, but I'm not sure that I can fathom what a god immortal feels when they die. Which is why I was hoping you could enlighten me. It seems so antithetical to their very place in the web of the universe. It's almost as if it were to pluck a discordant string. What is the note of a lyre untuned? It is, at the very least, unpleasant.
Unpleasant. And yet, always somewhat close to a known note, to something familiar. You know, there is one thing I do know for sure, Nereus. And that is where deity souls go.
You do.
Well, everything goes through Salem Boss. That's the thing about. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nereus will take out a coin and flip it back and forth, and then look at it on its edge. My lord, the more I learn about immortals, it becomes very difficult to tell if we are like them or if they are more like us.
He gives a very wry smile to that. Nereus, how do I make you feel? On a daily basis. What feelings enter your heart whenever you hear my name?
Well, reverence, of course, my lord.
Yeah, reverence, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, yes, almighty, blah, blah, blah. I don't mean the reverence, Nereus. What feelings do you have in your chest when you hear my name? When you hear my voice booming from the sky with the birds?
Confusion.
Oh, confusion. Confusion.
Frustration.
So frustrated you get. Those feelings for me. Tell me, Nereus, would you feel such things if immortals and mortals were so different?
I suppose not.
Mortals are so fun. That's why I can't help but laugh and giggle and riddle. Also, I just think it's hilarious. But does that make me mortal? Or does that make you immortal?
Does pursuing the answer frustrate you, my lord? Does pursuing any of them frustrate you?
Ah, you're sharp, Nereus. There's one difference, however, between me as the immortal and you and your frustration and your feelings. I am the god of the road. And I have an endless direction to keep going and never stop. Always pursue, never to find an end.
Do you ever double back, my lord? Or is it always forward?
Sometimes the landscapes look similar. Sometimes I wonder if I've seen that tree before. But the steps keep going one in front of the other. Did I go in a circle? Or did the circle go in my feet?
Do you think the road ends, my lord? For
No.
you.
Oh, for me? Sorry, I misheard your question. Let me go back. Does the road ever end for me? Maybe. It depends. Will there be a time that people will no longer need roads? I wonder. Maybe someday people will just learn to fly and will have no need of roads. But
Even birds follow a path.
it's true. They follow some things around the planet. But I think I am less concerned over the road ending for me. Because at the end of the day, the road does not end for the world.
Thank you, my lord. That was insightful. If I may bother you with one last question, if you
Oh.
would indulge an aged servant.
Of course. You are my favorite current apostle, after all.
Nice.
I believe it. We go to speak to this prophet.
Yes, Honoré Dothea.
I suspect that Honre Dothea has had to answer many questions in their life and has been asked many more. I think it only appropriate that I bring something to such a servant to wisdom equitable to their contribution. So, if you would indulge me, my lord, what is the one question that they have that no one has answered for them?
What is the one question? Sorry, this is Sarah thinking. It's one question that Thea has that no one's answered for them.
What keeps them up at night? Keeps them pondering? What's the riddle that you would give them? Or already have?
Riddle them this. Or actually, tell them this. And I think for the first time, it's kind of like Mira's not given a riddle. And he gives a very pensive, almost disheartened look as he says, tell her that Miro is sorry.
You have my word, my lord.
Thank you. And a little laugh too. She doesn't really like laughs. I wouldn't do that.
I'll keep that in mind.
It might just be my laugh that's annoying. Am I the god of irritation and annoyingness? Can one be a god of that?
I ensure you, mighty Miro, you are not alone in your dominion over irritation.
Then I will have to be the best at it. Wait. Can I be the best if I am already the first?
I can tell you that the question itself is already irritating me. So I believe whatever road you're going down, my lord, you are successful.
Yes. Now, you are looking for the Pegasus, I hear.
Yes, it is a personal request or a friend.
Well, I must tell you. First of all, when you see him, tell him I said hi.
Very well.
Secondly, number 2. You must remember one thing about this Pegasus. You need a pure heart.
Pure heart.
Pure heart. Someone must have a pure heart who approaches the Pegasus.
And I'm only going with the apostles. I thank you, mighty Miro. I will. I'll work on that.
Good. Excellent. Beautiful. Wonderful. Pure of heart.
Maybe if I have like a bunny rabbit or something. They seem pure.
But did the bunny rabbit do something before you met it? Did it kill its mother?
Majestic Miro. That's
maniacal Miro.
so mean. Okay. Just let bunnies be pure, my lord. For God's sake.
I am not the one that made them unpure. I simply put the idea. Now that you are thinking of it, you see the bunny and you're not sure. Was the bunny pure when I picked it up, or was it, or does it become unpure when I do pick it up? We call it Schrodinger's bunny.
Yes, of course. Good old Augustus Schrodinger. Imperator. Right. I will, I'll work on the pure of heart thing. Well, I'll find someone who can work on it. Maybe we
Excellent.
Can get
Now, the pure of heart is a riddle unto itself.
You still got me with one. Thought I was going to leave without any riddles.
Who are you talking to? It's me! You're talking to me!
Does he actually make finger guns at Nereus?
Yes, he does.
Has Nereus ever just been like, I gotta go, like in the middle of a conversation, just like, you know what, I gotta be someplace, and just left?
I don't know. I mean, I'm able to tell my god that he's irritating, so maybe after all these years, we have somewhat of a casual relationship.
A little bit of a rapport going on.
Yeah. I'm just like, I got dinner plans, so we could wrap this up. I don't.
Best of luck, Nereus.
Thank you, my lord. And, well, thank you for everything.
Don't thank me yet. Wait until you're on a flying Pegasus. And he disappears.
I don't, there's no such thing as a non-flying Pegasus. And I walk away. That would just be a horse. I don't-
All right. Next, we've got Lithian. Need to get your music. Lithian, you head into Helene's temple. Easy enough. And as soon as you are inside and the door is closed, she appears before you.
I kneel in reverence.
Excellent. She nods. I think normally she's very, very calm, serene. I think this time she just seems a little more rattled than usual. Lithian.
My lady.
Thank you for coming so promptly.
This is my duty.
I am here to bestow upon you a blessing and to grant you one more mission within your current one.
Was there any one more mission sounds
Oh,
weird? Was that just
another
a
mission.
deliberate choice? Okay,
no,
okay.
another mission.
No problem. Yep. Mm-hmm. He nods and awaits.
Come closer.
What am I looking for? He comes closer.
She touches your cape, and you have Helene's Rebuke empowered.
Here it is.
On top of an extra bonus to your AC, you have Veil of the Changing Seasons, a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. You can use a bonus action to teleport up to 30 feet to a space you can see and turn invisible until you successfully land an attack or the start of your next turn.
I almost went and chose a feat that gave me Misty Step. I'd have been upset that I took that. This is perfect. Thank you.
I would have let you change the feat.
I
So.
figured. He receives the blessing. Could I don't know how much I will necessarily get from this, but
Yeah.
if you said she looks a bit rattled, so I guess
Yeah.
I'd just like to try and scan real quick back through that sort of big meeting where all the gods were present
Yeah.
and all of that, and see if I can't maybe find a way to maybe pinpoint or just see if maybe I have an idea of what it was that might be lingering on her mind.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you could make a roll for really, really specific information, but I will say you really don't need to make a roll for this part of it. Clearly, talking about Alka was very unsettling and not what she really wanted to do, but felt she had no choice, given what you guys were learning about and asking.
My lady, if I may be so bold,
You may speak.
what about the death of your brother bothers you? Why do you feel a need to hide that information instead of celebrating it?
Well, I suppose part of it is that we had tried that. But it just seems that nothing we did could really bring him back. And so it was decided that perhaps it was the end of his season, you could say. And therefore it would be best for sake of keeping the peace that we merely not focus too much on a past of war.
The purpose of celebration isn't to bring something back, it's to remember.
And remembering can be
What-
painful all on its own.
Yes, but pain isn't something that should be avoided. Trying to avoid pain makes you weak.
I understand the confusion. Go ahead. Sorry, finish your sentence.
What peace was threatened to be broken if he wasn't forgotten? You tried so hard for him to be remembered, and now you embrace keeping that information lost?
There was. How do I say? The transition for some of the deities of the first ring from wartime to peacetime was more difficult than for others. You already are seeing the effect with Baratos, whose inventions seem more predisposed towards war creativity rather than else. And we did not want such pain to bleed onto the people who would probably not have the context of Alka that we all did. It seemed it would be safer and easier for the people if we of the First Ring did not pour our pain and sorrow towards a deity who, for the others, they would only know in history to celebrate. You go ahead and make an insight check.
Insight checking on a god. That's a natural 20 plus 11.
You're reading between the lines very easily here. So reading between the lines, because Helene tends to speak in very careful language around you. It's kind of like a plausible deniability kind of thing. That's kind of why I have you do a lot of insight checks with her. Reading between the lines, you're understanding this to be that certain deities, probably like the big three, not the big three, but like the three from the wartime, Baratos, Devra, and Kethek, it was you're kind of getting the sense that what she's trying to imply is they kind of didn't want to transition to peacetime very much, and the memory of Alka was making that worse, and so it was maybe just better to sort of not have it be celebrated among mortals so that they wouldn't necessarily have an excuse to kind of do certain things that are not appropriate during peacetime. But with your natural 20, what you're also getting out of this is for Helene thinking and possibly trying to celebrate Alka among mortals who would not remember or know Alka nearly as well as she did is probably too painful for her.
You spoke of another mission?
I did. This prophet. She furrows her brow. Quite frankly, I am starting to wonder if we have let the problem prolong for too much time. Therefore, once you find the information that you need from her, I want you to make sure she is no longer using her Onredo abilities when you leave. She's calling for an assassination.
Mm-hmm. He nods. If I may ask a question unrelated,
Very well, Lithian. What is on your mind?
as the first and mother of the ring, I've always been curious what you consider your guess, motivation or your responsibility is?
To
Whatever comes to mind first.
an interesting open-ended question. I am the goddess of seasons. It is my responsibility to make sure that things are in balance. Seasons change from summer to fall, to winter to spring, back to summer again. People live, people die, and all through it all, balance is achieved.
I went through a great deal of change from when you first took me from the streets to where I am now.
You have. You have grown.
Embracing that change and knowing that it will lead to better, more balanced times has kept me steady on my path. So it is a bit disheartening on occasion to learn that in some cases, change isn't what you aim for, and that keeping things as they are, despite seeing the issues they cause, is a choice that's been made.
She raises an eyebrow at that. Would you say this is that you've spoken like this to Helene in the past? This boldly?
I think that on occasion, it's probably more in regard to his life or other more personal or mortal matters, but I feel like given how young he was when he was chosen and the nature of his relationship and some of the duties that he's entrusted with, that I think that Helene is sort of, in a way, she might not see it this way, but I think to him, it's kind of a confidant sort of thing in that they've, on occasion, she's probably entertained some musings of his, but I think just given the stakes of the events that have happened, this is maybe the first time that the answers or the conversation has maybe been turned in her direction a bit.
She'll raise an eyebrow. You are disappointed in me, Lithium?
No, not in you.
Hmm.
As your hand, I've always seen the gods' foremost responsibilities or motivations to be in the cultivation, protection of the world, of the people. And I know that you're not all knowing. I suppose I find it a bit sad, the knowledge that you've lost, that you can't see anymore. When you hold pain in, that's when it's at its most destructive. Sharing it with those around you is the quickest way to alleviate it.
Lithium. She smiles a bit. It is only natural for people to go through learning curves, to feel confident in their trains of thought before more growth occurs. That's what I like about you, Lithium. You are indeed always growing and always learning. There is so much more you have yet to learn, though. And I look forward to you doing so.
He nods and bows.
Is there anything else I can do or answer for you?
Why now? This Onredo has been around for so long.
It is sometimes difficult to see among a field, among a wide field, where a potential point of bad growth or bad soil is until something more obvious happens, such as it grows and starts to wither away. I have perhaps let something grow a little too long before cutting it at the root.
Question for you, DM.
Yeah.
And even if this has happened, maybe it's hidden and I wouldn't know regardless. Has there ever been any instance of gods fighting or killing one another?
Not that you're aware of. Fight, as far as you know, the only time you really see gods fight is when you're basically what you
When
saw.
they're arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, not in a like battle and killing each other. Nothing that you know of.
I do have one more thing I'd like to inquire.
Of course. So curious.
Has a god ever been reborn?
That was Sarah smiling, not her. She actually, you do see a slight stop in movement, which is kind of weird, before she puts her hands together. All I know is, according to Salem Boss, whether it's mortals or deities, our souls go through the reincarnation wheel.
So if war were to come back to our people and our lands, then Ulka may be reborn.
Perhaps. It is something of that nature. Well, it's hard to say if it will be the Ulka, though. Certainly, I think a god of war could be sparked again, although it would probably be under different circumstances this time around if the worst of the worst, say the devils were to return suddenly. But as far as, well, there is a difference, I think, between the soul of Ulka and the god of war.
Do you feel that you would find any solace, any comfort to the pain you feel for that loss should another god of war spark?
No.
And
It
what
wouldn't
about the
be.
others?
It wouldn't be Ulka if it was our usual method of finding a worthy person to take that place.
I would like to insight.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Another natural 20 plus 11.
I'm going to just kind of, with your natural 20, sort of help you how to formulate your thoughts here.
Mm-hmm.
So she is very much separating out the concept of Ulka versus someone who is a god of war.
Right.
And you were thinking of this idea of like, okay, well, maybe if war came back, you know, could a god of war return?
Yeah, just to give you a little bit of insight into
Yeah.
why I'm asking this is one of my sort of early theories here is one of the gods behind what's happening in a bid to try and return things to the way that they wish they were, or as a way to maybe even get revenge or to do the same thing to Lycilia that they feel he did to Ulka.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're not getting quite closer to that answer here.
Mhm.
What you are hearing, however, is that I think here is what you are hearing as far as a, if you want to call it a vulnerability maybe, for Helene, is that for her pain seems most attached to the soul of Alka,
Right.
regardless of whether that would be a god of war.
Mhm.
So I would say that that theory is not being answered here in a yes
Mhm.
or no fashion, but you are getting insight that for Helene, at least, it is Alka's soul that is bringing her the most loss here, not
Okay.
necessarily a desire for war to return.
Right. Yeah. So
Now-
that does answer, at least in regards to her, that if my theory, if there was any truth to it or not, she's probably not aware or involved in it.
At least in like those kinds of steps, it doesn't
Right.
sound like that would match her
Right.
potential,
Right.
her steps.
Okay. I think that's all that he has then.
All right. Very well. Good luck on your journey.
He nods and dismisses himself.
All right. We are still in Sualkana. People can meet up, people can talk, people can prepare. So I know Saphir and Rohiri have something, but please, anybody else, and if you need any NPCs, I am here for in Sualkana. Let me get a walking around song real quick. What's a walking around song? That works.
Rohiri, when you find Saphira, she has found a restaurant or a pastry shop of some kind somewhere and just has a plate of pastries that she is eating and doesn't seem to care.
It's normal for everybody else.
Sorry, I'm trying to think how Rohiri would respond to seeing that, because that's very out of character for Saphira.
Unless she's planning to go put her fingers down her throat afterwards, yes.
Maybe it's gluten free.
She glances up at you. Want one?
Sure. She'll sit down and just kind of sit down like next to you on the same side of the table and just kind of offer you a hug.
She kind of just leans against you.
Is this like a fairly out of the way restaurant where there's not like crowds that are gonna
Yeah,
overhear us?
Yeah, she definitely didn't want to be in the limelight right now, so she's like, yeah, she found somewhere quiet.
Okay, maybe I should have found some time earlier to talk to you, but you're not the only one that sees it.
We're propagating this lie. And I don't know if I feel more evil for doing it or idiotic for not seeing it. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. Because I was benefiting from it.
Who's to say one way or the other? After Locke sparked, I talked to Kethek to see if he could, God of Bastions, maybe some way to protect people from sparking, and, well, he's Kethek.
Lysilia told me to just smile and pretend everything's okay. I gave her my resignation today. This is my last task as her apostle, seeing this prophet. And I'm done.
I think Rohiri just kind of looks a little bit shocked of like, never thought she'd hear those words come out of Saphira's mouth.
Yeah. I won't be part of this anymore.
That's fair, but we might not have a choice as far as what's coming.
I know. I keep
have this-
looking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Have this thought I can't shake of the god dies when they're forgotten. The easiest way to kill all of them. Like these withers seem to want.
Be to make them be forgotten.
Kill everyone that knows that they exist. We're a lot easier to kill than they are.
That is true. Maybe the Withers aren't wrong. Maybe we do need a blank slate or something to start over. The more I thought about it, the more it all just started to fit into place. They've created this world and system that is wholly dependent on them, and in the name of peace and prosperity and paradise, they make sure nothing ever can change. The status quo always has to be intact. Because if nothing ever changes, they don't ever have to worry about not being needed or relevant anymore. But the world does change.
If I ever told you why I do what I do, why I'm so happy to do it,
He's
because
your
I promise you,
grandfather?
it's won me no favors in Catherick's family.
No,
I
I'd
do it.
imagine it wouldn't.
I do it because it's the best way I know to protect our people. And maybe things need to change, but I can't just let the Withers kill them.
You know the problem with walls? Walls keep everyone out. Walls don't distinguish between enemy and friend. What if the history books, when they write them out, we have our places in them? What if we're the monsters? What if we're the villains? We've tried to create this perfect society and people still suffer in it. What was it all for?
I don't have an answer for you. I end up being a villain, then at least I end up being a villain that was just trying to help.
I've wasted my entire life. And I don't know. It doesn't seem fair that now at my age, I now only understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I've wasted so much time.
I'm the last person that can really lecture about any kind of wisdom, ironically.
Oh, look, I'm supposed to spy on you, but I don't really give a fuck what you two are doing. So,
Well, I'm supposed to spy on you, so
Hmm.
guess as long as we don't go too far from each other, we're still doing the job, right?
Yep. I don't know what he would have you find out about me.
I don't know.
Even
I think
now,
it's
with what we're
more
facing, they're still petty
bickering.
and jealous and bickering.
If I had to guess, it's he's held on to a grudge since Alka died, and new convenient opportunity for the grudge.
My goddess didn't even exist when Alka died. What are you going to do if we go and this prophet tells us what they tell us and Everine was right? What would you do?
And the way to protect the most mortal lives I can.
And you and I are on the same page. If that means going against my goddess, I don't care.
Well, I end up going against Kathek, you might, well, you would certainly be my only friend left at that point, but not like it's a long list to begin with.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who claim that they love me, but I don't think any of them would show up if I needed them. My loved ones are as fake as everything else here.
Turns out mine only really care for you if you building walls instead of trying to make them better.
She hands you another pastry.
You'll eat it.
Flavor. It's important.
I don't have to worry about fitting into these clothes anymore. Or looking pretty, walking with poise, or smiling, or any of the other bullshit I've been doing since I was 5.
I'm trying to think of how Rohiri would phrase this. You know, as much as your goddess would disagree, somehow I doubt you'll be any less beautiful for it.
It's funny, you're the second person who's told me that lately.
I think she looks maybe a little bit surprised.
The ace girl that I was supposed to seduce. She thinks I'm prettier without the makeup.
Maybe she has a point. You show the world who Lycilia wants the world to see, but you don't show the world you.
I haven't shown the world me since... Actually, I'm not sure I ever have.
I think Rohiri just hands you a pastry.
She wolfs it down. I'll tell you what. If you do promise not to go all cult on me, I'll keep fighting with you.
I don't have any plans to go all cult on anyone, so
You two finish your little pastry meal and chat, and just completely ruin my plans for inter-party conflict. Jeez, guys, why'd you have to talk it out? I mean, it's supposed to be like no communication. That's how we get drama here.
Oh,
Folks.
sorry.
Did you
Here's
not
a-
know?
Here's some drama. I think me and Nereus meet up, and
God.
I think the topic that I want to talk about is how dumb the idea is that walls also keep out your friends. Like, has no one heard of doors?
It is exceptionally strange that there's no god of doors. We have a god of roads. We have a god of walls.
We might have just found our inn.
We did. I think that
Mhm.
Alka-Seltzer is going to return as the god of doors, and that's my canon. I've made it canon.
God of doors and windows.
Yes.
Y'all can make a history or religion check.
Oh my gosh, was there a god of doors?
There still is, and it's the second most powerful god. Because doors are everywhere.
I don't think either of those are super great for me. Nope, both 0.
Nereus gets advantage on this roll.
Thank God
10.
I rolled a 1. Okay, I get.
Wait, you have a
No,
natural
don't-
20
it
in your
doesn't-
pocket.
Don't
But-
use that for this.
She said I had. Yeah, she said I had a.
Yeah,
advantage.
you have advantage.
26.
One of the second ring gods under Miro, name is Tartarus, is the
Tartarus.
god of doors.
I knew that.
It's mostly for like making doors, but
making doors. That's so
Yeah.
specific.
yeah, but
My
it is.
father's a cobbler. What is
That's
no
a
door
second
making?
ring goddess. That's
No
a
one-
third ring god at best.
Sorry. When
no
I,
one
I,
showed
I,
up
when
to
I
his
say
sparking
when I
event.
say making, I meant that more metaphorically. Apologies.
Oh.
yeah,
The
No,
sorry.
creation
guy
of ways
makes
where there were
doors.
before none.
Yeah.
He took
I got
the
you.
god of making doors when the god of opportunities was right there.
No, he retired.
Well, as we've learned, they don't always get to pick.
They don't.
Mhm. Oh, it seems like they never get to pick.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes people can force them into something else.
All right. Well, after that long scene, I feel like me and Nereus should do something. So
Please.
You want to kiss?
I mean,
No,
if you give
that's
me a
what
good
Rohirri
reason-
and
Saphira.
Saphira
No,
are probably
we're
going to
gonna-
do.
We're gonna beat you to it.
Beat you
Oh,
to it.
go
Now you
ahead.
now you look like followers.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're just copying us.
Yeah.
Need I remind you, we fucked in the first session.
Okay, we're talking about kissing though.
We're
There's-
talking about
there's a
romance.
connection
We're
there.
talking-
Yeah, not
I'm
just
sorry that
fucking.
you guys are so base. We're talking about a real connection. We're gonna look each other in
Hey.
the eyes.
Play it out. I'd love to see it.
All right, I'm driving over.
Driving.
I'm gonna make this gonna be. We're getting hot and heavy.
I'm trying to figure out why would I want to go to Nereus.
I mean, do we have to meet up to
You
go
will.
to a
Yeah.
place, right?
Yeah.
Nereus doesn't have anything specific that he needs to do in the city, so he's ready to go whenever. Plus, his god didn't traumatize him any more than normal. So,
It's true. It's true.
uh,
You got probably the best conversation, which is usually the opposite with Miro. So
Right, well, because things are going to shit now.
yeah.
So now Miro gets to be like, hey, you know how I'm like an asshole all the time?
Yeah.
Now I get to show my cool side. Because everyone else is being an asshole. And I'm like, oh man, that only took 50 years.
Stop knowing my tropes, okay? Not they're not my
me-
tropes. They're just tropes.
During that big meeting that we had with all the gods, Miro was the one who was like super like aggressive and angry towards Lycilia, right?
no.
No,
that was
no,
Kethic.
he
that was
made,
Kethic and
he made
Athala.
jokes. He
Okay,
made
okay,
jokes
okay.
He
the
made-
whole time.
Oh no, he was joking around the whole
But-
time and being kind of an asshole.
okay.
But
Yeah,
But he-
Kethic
he
talked
did-
and Athala talked mad shit at Saphira.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Lycilia.
let's see.
Miro more antagonized everybody to heighten everyone's emotions, and it's part of the reason everything came out. Is
Right,
because
right,
he kept, besides us poking them, he kept laughing at the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not funny. And
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
would.
I'm like
Kinda
a
funny.
trickster
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, out of everyone, he seemed the least concerned with you guys all knowing the truth.
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah. One of the few times he's ever been cool with things being direct.
I would call for Nereus. I have some.
Nereus answers
Things
your
that-
call. The
we-
Rohirrim are here.
We probably meet up at some cool like craft beer.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
brewery.
local brewery. We don't tell people about it. It's kind of new. It's really niche. And
Called the Answer.
yeah, exactly. And to order you have to go, but what is the question?
Some bullshit Miru riddle.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, this brew house only actually has one craft beer. It's a lot of investment to make beer, so they have one.
I appreciate you meeting with me. I know that you probably have a busy schedule to uphold.
No more than anyone else. What can I help you with?
I wanted to pick at your brain a bit. As we know, thinking isn't neither of the other two strong suits.
What
I'm-
ideas can we bounce off each other?
I don't know if concern is the right word, but this on Rado interests me, but not for the reasons that it does everyone else. The age thing is an anomaly. But why do you think they allowed her to live for as long as she did?
Good question.
Everything about her calls into question their authority, what they espouse as the truth, as the way. In fact, after a couple years, they could have done away with her, and no one would have asked any questions because she's an Unrado. That's about the time that she should have gone.
True. It's a good question. And one that is difficult to pry into without dancing around the edges of heresy, which, in my limited experience, suggests that there is an
Really,
important truth behind
the
it.
one of us that gets to travel from continent to continent, learning about all other religions, and is constantly questioned in the ways that Miru does. You have a limited experience with heresy.
That's the complicated thing, I think.
Well, let's say for the sake of conversation, a thought experiment, that any heretical things that we may say is just that for academic purposes.
Hypothetical heretical. I don't mind it. Though I will say one of the confounding truths of traveling as far and as long as I did is that the further away I got, the less some things looked like heresy.
I'd like to reckon a small thing if you don't mind. If you do mind, that's fine. We can start doing it now. But I'm going to use a psychic whisper die, and this conversation is happening telepathically.
Works by me. Is that cool with you, Sarah?
I have no problem with it.
So these two
Yeah,
just
we're
staring at
we're
each
just-
other
we're
while
just staring
gazing
into each other's
longingly.
eyes.
just come to this brewery, sit down in a corner, and like for an hour are just staring at
They
one
haven't.
another.
They haven't said a word to each other. Do you think they're
That's real
making-
love when
they're
you don't
making
have to talk.
eyes at each other, man? You see those fuck me eyes, man?
They say
Yeah.
that when you can sit in silence with someone, truly that is when you know them. Many times in my experience, when the gods confound, it is sometimes best to remember that once they were mortal. And so then I wonder, if you were a king or a lord and had a subject who was disruptive, what would hold you back from ending them? I think it's a rather short list.
I find that despite having once been mortal, I think that they often forget what it's like, that there are gaps in their plans, their vision.
Oh, certainly.
I've always taken it upon myself, or at least been given the freedom and leeway to be able to correct on tasks where that isn't clear to them.
Certainly, context is lost. I don't disagree with that at all. But I think, truly, that in a way it is that loss which can expose them. You see, I look at them arguing amongst each other like a family, but talking about the death of a god in front of us.
You found
How
that strange?
How human.
And at the same time not?
Exactly.
All of the things that they worry that the knowledge of it would do, they could easily combat by making it public knowledge, teaching about it.
But sometimes, at least in mortals, when things scare us, we lose perspective. I think that in losing mortal perspective, while it has narrowed their vision, honed it, perhaps, it has not cleaved from them those same mortal appetites. Knowing. I think that in forgetting what it is like to have humanity, they trip and fall into its vices more and more and more. It has always been surprising to me to think that deity would need anything to reinforce their authority. And yet, we live amongst a web and a circle of gods that do just that. So I suppose what I am ultimately getting at is I'm not entirely sure what this prophetess, as it were, holds over them. But I think whatever it is, it scares them.
I don't know that she holds anything. If that was the case, I think they would have done away with her long ago, but there is potential there for sure.
Perhaps. But fear blinds us, or at least, it blinds mortals. There is another thing to consider. Another mortal emotion to consider. Guilt. When I asked Miro my burning question, I wanted to know what it was this seer, who knew so much, had unanswered. What did she need to hear? And his words were, "Let her know I'm sorry."
An odd response.
An odd response for a god, but not a man. What if hands are stayed because past transgressions make it so they do not want to commit them again?
Question for the DM really quick.
Yep.
Prior to this on Rado,
Mhm.
those before her would die quickly, as is common, right?
Mhm.
And was she, I guess taken in by one of the deities, or
No, purposefully. That's why she was sent to this labyrinth. It was basically deemed that she was essentially too powerful or too help for a single deity to watch over, so it was agreed upon to sort of send her away.
so it wasn't that no one wanted her?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Nereus.
I suppose without knowing more about her past, it's difficult to know exactly what it is. But I will admit, while it is equally possible that there is a mundane or miraculous reason for them to stay their hand, as it were, I tend towards the mundane. Besides, who's to say even if they did all not want to end it? Perhaps they just couldn't agree. The First Circle does try when it can to come to consensus. For all I know, there are some of them that very much want her dead, and simply didn't want to act out of the will of others. But I suppose we'll never know.
What do you think you would have done in their place?
If I had a disruptor, if I had someone that didn't fit the mold, something that broke the system inherently because it broke the rules of the world as I understood it, unfortunately, my answer is rather plain. I'd want to know as much as I could about them. So,
Your mirror was showing.
well, I suppose that's why I was selected and why I'm often sent away. Like many of the disciples of Miro, we abide by the rules and then live an exception to them. It's a rather hypocritical existence. We travel the world and see all the realms of barbarians, in theory, to reinforce the greatness of Elkana, but in practicality to ensure that Elkana can still thrive with trade routes, information, knowledge. For as much as our society vaunts its independence and supremacy, like every other great nation I have had the privilege to visit, its lifelines depend on the others, at least for it to be as large as it could. Can you imagine modern Alcana without the imports and exports that we have, the wealth that comes in, the desires of so many to see our great steeples and listen to our magnificent philosophers? To be the best at something is not worth much if other people don't desire it, at least from a purely cynical point of view. And while I don't mean to sound pessimistic, in my experience, when it comes to government, choices can be deeply cynical. Perhaps out of necessity.
I believe I asked you this question at the barking of the sportsmanship. As old as you are, why do you still keep your position?
Now there's a riddle. I won't lie. There is an element of that when you have been doing something for as long as I have, it becomes difficult to know when to stop. I'm not sure what I would do. Retire? Enjoy my twilight years?
Let me
I have...
phrase it a different way then. Why do you do what you do?
Because I have a question.
That
And
can
I
only
haven't
be
found the
answered
answer.
as you are.
I believed that. Now I'm not so sure. But it becomes a classic gambler's dilemma. Once you have put so much time into something, looked so hard in one direction, given up so many chances at happiness because you were so committed to something. At what point do you accept failure? This old man, for all his supposed wisdom, doesn't like to lose.
Well, he'll finish off the last of his drink as he stands up. A bit of advice from me to you for once, then. The longer you make a mistake, doesn't make it any less of a mistake. And Lithian will head to wherever we were going to meet to leave.
Probably the empty pillar. It's got a teleportation circle.
Nereus will wait a beat and follow.
Sarah, I'm going to send you something here real quick.
Okay.
And just make sure... Or I'll just delete it afterwards. I do that, not you.
Yes. One moment, please. We are dealing with secret messages.
When we all do gather together and Saphira shows up, she is not wearing makeup. She has her hair, instead of that long kind of just like straight down her back and like the little curl at the end, her hair is braided for travel. She's wearing a traveler's cloak over her wraps, and she has a rapier on her hip when she shows up.
I think the weapon's the main thing Nereus notices.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Yes. She looks at the three of you. I've already told Rohirri, but I'm going to let you all know as well. I have given my resignation to Lycilia. This will be my final task in her name.
Let's make sure it's a successful one.
I hope so.
The culmination of a role well done and life one well lived need not be depressing.
Well, I assure you that my role and life are neither of those. It is a culmination of a mistake I have made for my entire life, and am done doing so.
I think Nereus will linger on that. Nod. You have to do what is right.
Yes. The only difference is now I am going to make that decision for myself. One way or the other.
Lithian doesn't say anything, but he smiles. How are we traveling to where we are traveling?
I got you. So, you are all going to be teleported to Dor Visara.
Okay,
which
so we're
is
just like outside a teleportation place, right?
Yep, and which is basically kind of a medium-sized city. It's got its basic things here. Mainly, it's a place that uses a lot of the lake water for it's more of like kind of like a hunting kind of town. That's how it built its reputation. Lots of fresh foods from here, less agricultural, more game and stuff like that. Is everyone ready to leave Sualcana for Dor Visara?
Yep.
Mhm.
All right,
We're all together on the same mission.
Yes.
Why did I think that we were split up for those two different missions?
The other apostles are in the other mission.
Yep.
Devra's apostle, Baratos apostle, and
Oh.
Athalas apostle.
Just that probably means that they're gonna fail, and we're gonna find them all withered up and have to fight them.
They'll be dead. They'll be super dead.
We'll see. Yeah, I wasn't splitting the party.
And one of
Too
them
much.
will be alive, but they'll be possessed by evil. There'll be a boss
I
fight.
think they're all gonna be possessed by evil.
And
Like
they're
a
gonna.
rival party fight.
Or
They're gonna-
maybe we're the ones who are going to be possessed by evil, and
Oh,
they're the heroes.
That'd
Oh,
be
no.
pretty dope.
That would be pretty sick.
That'd be pretty dope.
We
New
were the
character
villains
sheets,
we were
everybody.
looking for all along.
I'll just let you know, Sarah, you won't actually have to possess me for evil if you don't want to. That's still go along with it.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if everyone was possessed. He
Right.
Yeah,
seemed-
there was nothing that suggests that he was. Just he believed what he was talking about.
Very much believed in it. Not that you could dissect his brain, I guess, but still.
I mean, I got in there a little bit.
And we do know that the withers can possess things.
Yes.
So that
So, yeah, it just seems like with human consciousness, it's like, what does that actually mean?
Mhm.
So, you appear in Dor Visara. I will tell you that y'all, this is going to be a bit, now from here on out, it is travel camp time. And some of you are very familiar with outdoors things. I think Nereus and Lithian, you are used to more rugged travel. A tiny bit. I'm not so sure about Rohirri. Definitely not Saphira. So you all are going to want to make sure you are prepared for roughing it.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Saphira is more than ready.
I'm not actually going to, care if you guys don't get the right items. I'm just letting you know that this is probably the first time in this campaign that you are not just teleporting somewhere. You are going to be traveling.
gonna buy 50 ladders,
Yeah.
break them all into two 10-foot poles,
Oh, my God.
and
yeah.
then sell all those 10-foot poles back at profit.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the 2014 book, a 10-foot pole is worth more than a ladder.
Okay, I have a
God.
small little thing that I'd like to do with Saphira if she doesn't mind.
Sure.
Is this okay at Dor Visara, or do you need it to be at Sualcana?
Wherever we were would be preparing.
Dor Visara, you'd probably...
Yeah, we're probably stacking
yeah.
up there.
Okay.
Yeah, Rohirri will
Uh,
probably go get like a tent and rations and stuff.
Yeah, it's
for-
more-
I think
It's more
Saphira?
meant for that.
Yeah, and
Don't
I
you
think
worry.
it also makes sense because if it was back in Sualcana, maybe she would have just had somebody else get the stuff for
Yeah.
her. So I'd like to think that they happen to be at the same place as Saphira is like they're going over their list of what they're gonna need basically, right? And he would see you in the I guess what was it called?
I will tell you that
Great.
while Saphira might be there, she's not shopping. She has everything she needs.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Just nix the whole thing then.
Oh, okay. She has a bag of holding that is at 498 out of 500 pounds, and it's all mundane stuff.
I went
she
through
is
the list.
more than prepared for this trip. She has a two-person camping tent.
Fair enough. I don't think that there's anything special that I would want to get that you wouldn't expect someone who's going on a trip like this to.
All right.
So, yeah. I
The
should be
only
fine.
thing I would maybe suggest calling for is the kind of roles people might want to make to sort of figure out this Pegasus conundrum. Because it's not like someone's got a map and is like, yeah, if you go here at dawn, you'll see the Pegasus. You know that he's seen around Sapphire Lake most frequently. But I will be calling for either history or arcana roles to kind of further get some information.
Would you say that this Pegasus would be related, or we might be able to uncover some information through local means, as a local folk tale, or that they might revere it in some way?
In Dor Visara, you could do that. 22,
So,
I see for Arcana. Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, 22.
Would-
Okay, where's the horse?
Would you allow me then? There's just no way I could argue any of my really, really good stuff for it. So investigation. Would you allow an investigation roll?
I'll
To
allow
help.
an investigation roll on Dorvisara. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to think then that me and Nereus and the other two as well, if they wanted to get together for this.
I'll
as
allow
well.
anybody to make rolls. Rohiri?
I was just gonna ask if we could see, like, if you don't have a map for the area, like a continent map,
Yep.
so we have some idea of like where we're at.
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to shift you. Here you go.
Now I didn't get this information.
Oh, that's a big lake. Okay.
But based on
Big-ass
something
lake.
that Miru said, and then I feel like
Miro.
Miro said, and then based on going around like asking people about it, that I would have then picked up on it as well. Can this Pegasus talk?
Oh,
this
is that
a
your-
se- Yeah,
is this your specific-
I'm asking the DM.
What's your investigation roll?
For my investigation, I got a 22.
22. Okay.
Um,
And before, so that's one of your questions. Before I keep on further, is anybody else making rolls that are not investigation and not arcana?
Survival?
Later.
Okay.
Hold that one for later. All right, let's just stick with Lithian and Nereus. All right, you all got 22s. Here's what I'm going to say for sake, I think, of to kind of help us out, and if we're still really stuck, I'll help along the way. Lithian and Nereus, due to your roles, you each can have 2 questions. One of yours, Lithian, is the can it talk, but we can get some other questions, too.
Yeah, that wasn't like a serious one. If you're gonna make me burn a question on it, that was just
You
gonna
can
do
you can
a-
make that part of a bigger question if you'd like. I will let you rephrase.
No, that's not important. It was just gonna lead to a funny exchange with Nereus, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
So you said Sapphire Lake, right?
Yep.
All right, Nereus, why don't you ask your questions first?
All right. My first question is, where's the Pegasus? Where is
I'm going to give this one back to you. You know that it likes to hang around Sapphire Lake.
All right.
So you already know
my,
that.
my second question is, where around Sapphire Lake is the Pegasus?
They don't really know.
Who is they? Who the fuck is they?
Okay.
I'm a whoever they are, I walk up, I slap them in the face, and I say, figure it out. I'm on a tight schedule. then I take-
Maybe you might want to ask how you can have it approach you.
I don't even know. Oh, like how to attract it? Like get its
Yeah.
attention, maybe?
Yeah.
All right, I take my shotgun out and I shoot one of the guys in the knees, and I look at the other guy and I go, that's going to be you if you don't tell me how to get this Pegasus to notice me.
What the fuck, Darius?
I don't know if this is helping with your pure heart requirement.
It's not
I
quite
figured
yet.
I've figured out. Pure can mean pure evil.
I suppose that's true.
Evil people still have hearts.
That's correct. We have
So-
multiple because we rip them out of others.
So the main thing, Nereus, I will have you learn because you are very honed in on the where is it? Just give me a thing.
Shot a man in the
How
knee
to-
about
how
it.
to-
I'm
how-
honed in.
yeah, I noticed. Is the legends basically say, and that's kind of what your Arcana roll is meant for, is kind of knowing the legends around it. You know that it hangs out in Sapphire Lake unless someone has attracted it with
Okay.
a Peer of Heart. And as far as looking for it, what the legends say that it is a physical manifestation of a Pegasus, of a flying horse. You
Okay.
also learn that Pegasus is its name, and you better
Right.
treat it with its respect because his name is Pegasus.
Because there's the
Um,
one.
So exactly. So
Okay.
you so that what I mean by that is there's a physical manifestation, which means tracking seems to be
Right.
an option here.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you kind of I'm trying to think. Well, you didn't really ask this question, but let me see here.
Well, I mean, the
Um,
only question I've asked
oh.
so far is how to attract it.
Yep. So for the Peer of Heart aspect of it, one thing you have learned with how to attract it is that the legends of people who have attracted it seems to be kind of not contradict, just different. You hear of young maidens, and you kind of see
Yeah.
a tongue-in-cheek about young
I don't
maidens
have
who've
any of
never
those. So.
that haven't ridden horses yet, specifically.
Oh.
Yeah. You hear people who have very strong protectors. They're strong protectors with a charge. You also hear those who maybe serve a deity without doubt.
Oh. Well, we don't have any of those either. Well,
You'd be
maybe
surprised.
Rahiri.
There's
Oh,
also one more legend you see is that someone who was able to show a pure of heart was able to something. It's not quite clear, but it's something to do with snakes. There was a whole fucking lot of snakes. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be like one of those weird like get bitten by snake Christians in the South, and I'm gonna believe that I can't be poisoned because of the one true God, and so I'm just gonna get bit by a bunch of snakes and be fine.
That might.
Rob, that's Corpus that you're thinking of. You're not playing Morrowind.
No.
Wrong game.
I want to steal the big enchantable necklace. No? Okay. My second question then is, okay, so we know about how do we attract it with pure of heart. My second question, I suppose, would be based on legend. I don't just need to attract it, I need to get it to agree to join me. So I guess my second question is there anything special that's ever needed to be done in the legends to actually to get it once it shows up? To get it to agree to join me on my quest to fight the Kraken?
It seems to be that Pegasus converses in all the legends with their supposed new charges. And so
Gotcha.
it seems like there needs to maybe be an actual verbal convincing.
Yeah, verbal contract. I need to bring a lawyer. Okay.
And perhaps the mission you are requesting for it has some relation to a pure of heart as well.
The mission is that the woman I scorned can't walk anymore, and I want her to have a cool horse. So
Yeah, I
he
think as all this is happening, Lithian's just like, yeah. So you want this Pegasus to like be her
Yeah.
mount?
Correct. Yeah.
This is apparently a mythical, legendary, like folk being, and
There's just the one. Yeah.
okay, yep.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought this was going to help us get to the prophet.
No, this is literally apparently just for his baby mama.
I mean,
Well-
I guess that could help. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, I mean, it is a flying horse. I mean, I suppose that could definitely.
Help with
You
the
know.
labyrinth, I would think so.
Right. Right. I've kind of forgot about the labyrinth too, but no, that's
It'll-
fair.
We'll be able to talk to. I'm sure if you can show a pure of heart in your mission. It does sound like in all the legends, so that Pegasus is like you talk to Pegasus.
Hmm.
And have a
Zafira, have you
conversation.
ever ridden a horse before? An actual horse, to be clear.
She glances over. Many times, yes.
Damn.
Why would you think I haven't ridden a horse before?
It wasn't about whether I thought it. It was just I mean, it was a hope. I thought maybe we'd have a chance. I've ridden a horse, for sure.
Do we need someone who hasn't ridden a horse?
Well, sometimes, maiden is a various thing. It's like maiden can be they've never slept, but you could also be like a virgin who's never ridden a horse before.
I have.
Like a horse.
Yes, I've
virgin.
ridden a horse. Yes.
Okay. You've ridden the horse, not the horse. All right, great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. right,
Lithian, you had 2 questions.
She's the goddess of pleasure, not kink.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair.
I mean,
Cool
probably.
name.
Well, one of the second ring.
Yeah.
Are
Guys.
there any legends about how to draw it towards you? I know that you mentioned like the sort of pure of heart things. These all seem to be sort of related to how to, I guess get its attention or like get it to agree to things, but to like actually get it to show itself to have that conversation? Is there anything in regards to that?
I once again would like to put forward performance check for Pegasus mating dance.
That may be an option.
See,
But,
again,
but if that happens, then you're gonna have to sleep with it too.
I mean,
if there's
listen,
a
consent
mating-
can be withdrawn at any time.
If there is a mating dance, wouldn't that imply there has to be a second Pegasus?
that's true. If a
I
Pegasus
suppose
has,
so, yeah.
Look, animals in
mating dance, that's-
mythology are banging people all the time.
I don't know. In the Hercules movie, the Pegasus definitely did a mating dance.
that's
Right,
that's
and
true.
how do you think we got minotaurs?
Well,
Bulls,
Greek
but
lore, I mean,
still.
yeah.
Well, that's because Zeus turned into a bull and
And
assaulted
then
the king.
and then raped somebody. So yeah.
Yeah.
What if someone
Anyway,
turns
So
into
anyway.
a horse and we make a
Listen.
centaur?
this is why I made my Zeus analogy character be dead. Anyway.
Saphira, have you ever given birth to a centaur?
I've never given birth, period.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you were on your period, that makes sense. But outside of that,
Nereus, we need to focus if you want this horse.
no, that's fair. My bad.
Lithian.
Rohirri vaguely looks like she wants to strangle Nereus.
Lithian, so you kind of get told again that you probably can track the horse, and it does
Mhm.
seem like if you have a sort of pure of heart intention, that it likes to see that. However, you are hearing a lot of stories about some people that have sworn they found success in at least finding the Pegasus after essentially defeating like a nest of snakes.
Okay, yeah.
This Pegasus
So-
seems to really not like snakes.
I mean, Pegasus doesn't like snakes. That's fair.
So yeah, that was the intention behind the question, was obviously tracking, but is there something that we can do to draw or entice it towards us so it's not just a chase? So okay, cool. So yes,
Wait.
I mentioned then that
There is a
in-
specific reason why it's snakes.
in tracking, or while we're tracking, if we can find
A nest of
to
snakes.
defeat. So I guess then
Wait,
my
wait,
next question would be, I assume that that's not just finding a regular nest of
Yeah,
snakes.
I was gonna
are
wonder,
there
like, are there
any-
any legendary snakes?
Are
in the
there
area?
any monsters or legendary monsters or just
Is there
anything in
python?
relation to snakes and what we could that might be easier to find than the Pegasus itself, in
I'm-
hopes that
the
will draw
great,
to
the
us?
great
Is this-
python?
Is this our fishing mini game? Are we currently having to figure out what bait to use to get the Pegasus?
If our fishing minigame involves fighting the primordial serpent python, I'm down with
no,
it.
I'm
not,
hoping for Jormungandr myself.
not quite. It will make sense. You get this legend. Apparently, long ago, supposedly there was a monstrous being who was described to, instead of having hair, to have having snakes.
Huh?
Dusa.
I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
snap.
I've
Because
never
what-
heard
Oh
of that.
no.
Oh, that's the original legend of Pegasus.
Yeah,
Um,
it goes with Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. He gets the mirror shield in the Pegasus. It goes. Yeah.
It was its defeat that originally had allowed Miro to find Pegasus.
So I start this with,
Sorry.
yes, I'm actually surprised that you don't recall this bit of information.
Hmm?
And then I relay that information.
Medusa? That doesn't ring a bell. No.
Miro doesn't like talking about his exes.
Yeah, Medusa. Oh, with the snakes.
Yeah, so if we find this Medusa or a creature with a head full of snakes,
Snakes.
defeat it, the
Hmm.
Pegasus may reveal itself.
Well, I mean, that cannot be that hard to find a woman with a head full of snakes. That's got to be something someone's been talking about.
Wait, are we just talking about murdering this woman?
Well, she has a head full of snakes.
You're not too pleasant
And?
to look at either.
They do call her a monster, to be fair.
Well, first off, rude. I don't know why you're so defensive. Just because you stopped wearing makeup, you think you have something in common with this woman. Second, Yes, you're not the only one that gets to be sassy without repercussions, young lady. and, and second, I didn't say we were gonna kill her. I say, listen, if someone is talking about a woman with snakes for hair, I just have a strong feeling that will be followed with, by the way, she sucks. Okay?
Maybe we can fix her.
Rohirrim just
Oh.
nods sagely.
Saphira.
Maybe we can fix her. And maybe then Pegasus will be so happy with us for redeeming Snake Lady that he'll show up.
Also,
What-
be prepared
Perfect.
for the
What
fact
could
that maybe
possibly
she
be more
doesn't
pure of heart?
think that she needs to be fixed. Then she
That's
likes
right.
the way she is, which is devouring people.
Right. What if
Well,
there's that?
wait, is she devouring people? I didn't hear that part.
Well, we don't know
Were you
yet.
not listening to the local myths or legends at all?
Right.
No.
Also, she has snakes for hair. She probably devours people.
That
If the people
I
There's a
will-
lot of snakes that
I
don't
will
eat
say
that don't
the-
eat
the
people.
le-
You do
Legend-
not get to be Saphira. You have been an Alcanan your whole life. I'm
Yeah.
going to need you to be more prejudicial. We are a very insular, xenophobic
She's
community.
trying to turn over a new leaf. This is a brand new Saphira.
Do that after I have my cool horse.
She's over-correcting, and so everything, even if it is clearly bad, is like, well, maybe that's just the way it was
There's,
made.
Maybe
there's,
it's
there's,
supposed to be
there's
that
the
way.
Cyclops like stealing virgins, and she's like, maybe there is kids. I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, the Cyclops is a bit of an incel. I get it.
I will
Cyclops is
I
a
will
good
clarify, and I did not clarify, and I'm sorry. I was kind of trying to reveal this and just kind of the way it unfolded. The legend talks about a monstrous person with snakes for hair. The legends that are like more modern just seem to be like they saw like a pit of snakes or something, like a pile of snakes, nest of snakes, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
a
I will
snake farm.
say that you may have to take it or leave it with some of those more modern interpretations, because some
Sure.
people swear they saw the Pegasus, and some of them were also drunk fishermen.
So it could be anywhere between a
Yeah.
ancient tale of the monstrous Medusa and just a
someone,
pit of snakes.
someone saw an adder's nest.
and
Yeah.
something
ha-
in between there.
And I have to
So,
emphasize,
to
if they did,
Saphira, I would
Right, if-
say, we would say, according to the legends, she's a monster.
Yeah.
Normally, but not always, there are actions that contribute to you being thought of that way. So
right?
do we have to kill her or whatever it may be? Perhaps not. Maybe
We
a
will
good
firmly-
insult that makes them feel defeated will do.
We will firmly establish their ill intent before we take any drastic task. I
Perfect.
can assure you of that. Now that said, if we do just find a pit of snakes that are fucking, and that brings Pegasus around, I don't know if I want it anymore. So that might kind of defeat the, if it just goes around, because a nest of snakes like that, they're fucking. There's like one female at the bottom and all the males are competing to get to her.
Okay.
So that's, that's sort of a,
Well, I know how that
If-
is.
If it is metaphorical,
yeah.
we could always just go to the town hall. And
That's what I was going to
talk
say. That's
with
a good
few
point.
Politicians.
That is a true nest of vipers that are also all just fucking. So that's a good point, actually. What is do we have Praetor Gates? Is he in this area? Sorry, I'm sorry. I said Praetor. I meant Predator.
There,
okay.
that's
Uh-huh.
Is
correct.
he in?
I'm afraid that you just found out that
Yes.
he was discovered to have done some just terrible crimes that
Oh, I'll bet.
I really can't
Right.
say on Twitch. But
True.
the punishment
But
was
they are alleged,
ironically
probably true.
to throw him into a pit of vipers.
Oh, well.
Well,
Oh, where's that pit of vipers at? We need.
now hold on.
Yeah,
because
now I
that's
like the pit of
clearly-
vipers.
That's clearly a good aligned pit of vipers.
Yeah.
And they're probably pure of heart. So that's also. So we
Yep.
need to. So how do we get to Sapphire Lake?
You're gonna be walking there
Just go north up
All
the
right,
river.
Yeah.
I
we just
guess,
go
yeah.
north up the road.
Yep.
We follow the yellow brick road.
in a way, in a manner of speaking.
I would
Um,
like to be the Tin Man.
I mean, do you have the polymorph spell?
I have flesh to stone.
Ooh, okay, I will allow that.
That's great if we find Medusa. You two will have something in common.
What an ironic way for her to go.
You're already stone flesh. Do you think you can still be petrified?
So that's a great. So I don't know how it is in 5e. The old spell was literally stone to flesh / flesh to stone.
Oh, so
Right.
you could change someone back as well.
So you could
Nice.
change someone
yeah,
back.
when they had those kind of cure.
So it was
wounds.
kind of like how they used to have
Influence.
blue fire shield, red fire shield, and one in second edition, and one of them gave you ice or a cold resistance because it was a shield of fire, and then one was red fire shield, which was a shield against fire, which gave you fire resistance. So yeah.
So you guys are all
I'm
wrapped
sorry,
up.
I just want to share some knowledge and everybody's awkward silence at the end.
I feel like I heard a little bit of the exhaustion in Sarah's voice of
Just
dealing with
fucking-
God.
I don't get to have time to explore the things I'm interested in. I like blue and red fire shield.
We're going to find this Pegasus for you.
Yeah,
This is
but
literally
that's-
all for you. This whole
Yeah, I
quest
know, but
is attention for you.
I'm very selfish, so it's just kind of.
But it's gonna be a long fucking quest, isn't it?
Nah, not once we find him. Not once we get him. If we talk to Medusa like this, she's gonna give up like that. So we'll be fine.
True.
So what I'm gonna say is, you guys all pack up, have the information you need to know, and are going to be going on your journey camping backpacking trip to find Pegasus and maybe ideally some kind of way to get to the Zenith easily.
Yeah.
And I think it is for the best that we stop here for today.
That's an aggressive condemnation of my enjoyment, but that's fine.